So guys, Slipknot just played at Rock am Ring last night, and I want to talk about it. Let's get into it. So what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Today's content is a little bit different, but it's kind of more the same. What I want to do is just talk about my favorite band of all time, Slipknot, their live stream performance last night at Rock am Ring. I'll talk about their masks, their overall performance, the set list, and the guitar gear. Sound good? So the overall theme from this performance that I could take away from this is it really got me back into the band. You know, for a while there, like with the whole Chris Fane thing and then the whole new member thing, I'll be honest, I was very anti-Slipknot for the time being because I didn't really want to be involved with that whole drama, you know what I mean? Like it was disappointing. It was like my parents were fighting at the dinner table and I didn't want to be a part of it, you know what I mean? So like I was kind of like, you know what, Slipknot's going to go do their own thing. I'm not necessarily on board with them at the moment. I was just like kind of bummed out because Chris Fane was my favorite member apart from Sid. And that's just being completely transparent with you guys. I was not completely hyped initially on Slipknot. And then even when the Jimmy Kimmel performance came, you know, I don't know why every TV live performance sounds like a 5-year-old is running the front of house and the live mix. Like, I don't understand how the hell, even nowadays in 2019, you can't get a good mix for TV translation. I don't understand that. So even like with that, I was like not very hyped on Slipknot, you know what I mean? Like I just was not feeling it. But then yesterday, guys, Rock am Ring in Germany, it changed everything for me. The energy's there, the members look great, nobody looks old anymore, you know what I mean? Like there was for a while there, like in the 2012 2013 era of the band, like the songs were slower, and that could be attributed to Joey because Joey was unfortunately very ill, but like even Mick was very stiff and robotic and very overweight, which I'll talk about. Jim was having neck issues. Corey was having neck issues. And, like the band was in rough shape there for a while in like 2012, 2013. And I'm not like saying like their performances sucked or anything. It was just you could see the band starting to get older. You know what I mean? And then even with Point 5, the band still was kind of like sluggish in my opinion. And again, that's not a negative. That's a negative word, but I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just like, you know, they were getting old, man. Like they've been doing it for close to 20 years up until then. So I was understanding. But like now it seems like the band like fixed themselves and like they're just like so energetic on stage, and it reminds me of like Volume 3 stuff. I mean, Corey's doing the windmill with his hair. Mick has lost about like 20 pounds it looks like, and his neck's going again. Jim looks like Volume 3 Jim, like with his hair whipping back and forth and everything, you know what I mean? Like it was a lot of energy on stage. But the two people that are bringing the most energy are Jay Weinberg and the new guy too. The new guy, I was heavily impressed, man. His performance blew me away. Every time he was on the screen, I was locked into the performance because I was almost like critiquing him, you know what I mean? I was reviewing his mannerisms and his action and his overall musicianship, and I was damn impressed. I mean, he was doing these crazy headbangs where like his leg would be up on like the big giant steel drum, and he'd be headbanging over the side, and like if he's not paying attention, he's going right over. And I was blown away. His live vocals were solid. You know, him interacting with Sid a lot was very, very cool. I was impressed. I was very impressed, and I was happy to see that the new guy, whoever this cat is, has a lot of energy and a lot of passion. Now we'll talk about the mask briefly. I mean, we've seen the mask a decent amount of time. I don't really like Sid's mask anymore. I didn't know what was going on, but now it's like a lot of Robetronics, and that's why he's wearing the hood, because if you look from the side, he has like it looks like 6 inches to like 8 inches of gap between his real head and his mask and his electronics, you know, his new head, his death mask, if you will. And it looked like it was like taking away from his live performance because he had this big giant thing on his face. And Sid's known for being like extremely like energetic and frantic on stage, and it looked like his mask might be hindering him from that. Corey's mask is okay. If I had to rank it real quick, just off the top of my head, I'd probably put it next to last behind Point 5. I think Point 5 was by far his worst mask. But this mask, because it's so simple, it's okay, but it's kind of cool because he has the translucent finish, and so therefore he can have different paint jobs all the time. Like even last night, I think he had red lipstick on, if I'm not mistaken. So it's okay. Jim's mask is Jim's mask. Mick's mask is Mick's mask. Sean's mask, I don't like at all, actually. I was very, very surprised. That is very anti-Slipknot, in my opinion. I mean, who am I to say? But, like, going from the West German clown and even, like, the Tattoo the Earth clown to now just, like, this, like, weird... It looks like a Purge mask, you know, the movie The Purge, with the lights and stuff. And I was like, kind of disappointed, because that doesn't seem like very Slipknot at all. Craig's mask is solid. Jay's mask is solid. I don't like... V-Man's mask at all. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but that's okay. Now we'll talk about the set list. I was heavily impressed with the set list for one reason and one reason only. You know, a lot of the songs are a lot of the staples in the band. I was disappointed they didn't play some of the bigger hits, like the Negative One in particular. That song is like one of my favorite songs in recent years in terms of heaviness and aggression and stuff like that. I think they should sub that out for The Devil and I. I think the Negative One brings a lot more energy, a lot more rawness, but, you know, who am I to say? But they played Prosthetics, man. That is so sick. Prosthetics is one of the most underrated songs from the first album. It is so heavy and creepy and eerie, and I love it so much, man. And when they opened with that, I knew they were gonna do it because I saw it at Rockfest. But when they opened with that initial riff and that like Sean playing on the keg, man, so sick, man. And I love Prosthetics. I love that they tapped into the self-titled album a little bit, and they brought back a song that's not just like, you know, your dualities, your Before I Forgets, and, you know, things like that. Did they even play Duality? Yes, they did. They did play Duality because the new guy was swinging with the swinging kettle, the swinging keg. I thought that was pretty cool. And now we'll talk about the guitar gear. Now, mix is kind of the same. I mean, he just has a little bit of different finishes with the carbon fiber and the sparkly green Jackson Solos, as well as his white and his black one. Now, I don't know what gear he's using, but I heard at the end of his .5 tour cycle, he was using the JP2C from Mesa Boogie. I've also heard he's not really a Rivera artist anymore. I can't confirm. I've heard a lot of speculation. I'm sure there'll be rig rundowns here in the near future on mixed gear, so we'll be on the lookout for that. But Jim's gear. You guys know how much I love Jim Root, man. He's slowly becoming like my favorite guitarist. And he's got some new stuff, and I want to talk about it. So if you've been following Jim Root on social media, you've been seeing a lot of his pictures being posted of his new guitars and his new gear. But more in particular, he's got new pickups, man. I mean, he even had all his tried and true guitars that we've always seen him with, like, for example, his white Telly and his red and black sandblasted Jazzmasters. They all have what I believe are called the retroactive EMGs. He's always been, ever since I believe like 2002, an EMGs player, or even before that. Maybe I can't confirm, but I'm sure he had some in the self-titled era. But I know for a fact, ever since like Iowa and stuff like that, he's always had EMGs. The active 81 and 60 setup. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But yeah, now he has the retroactives in his guitars. Again, it's really, really weird how like his #1 white Telly has the retroactives and his, you know, red and black sandblasted Jazzmaster has them. It looks really, really different, especially for somebody like Jim Root who's always had the same thing. But it's really, really cool, and I'm hoping that he either has a signature set coming out with EMG or he has a brand new signature guitar with Fender, and I want to get both of them. And the very last point I want to make is, while I was watching Slipknot live at Rock 'em Ring on my laptop and on my TV, I was having them both go so I could see the live feed. I bought tickets, man. I bought tickets to see them August 31st in Camden, New Jersey, and I'm very, very excited. Again, when the whole Chris Fane thing was going on, I was kind of anti-Slipknot just because I was angry at the band, and I was upset. But man, after last night, changed everything. They have so much more energy, probably more energy than the last time I saw them in 2012, back when Joey was still in the band, when they were doing the whole like Paul Gray remembrance. It was just after the Mayhem Fest. They did like 3 shows, and one of them was in Homedale, New Jersey. It was like a one-off show, and that was the last time I saw them, and their songs were getting slower, and it was just like the band was like a little haggard, in my opinion. I don't mean that in a negative way at all. They just looked tired. I mean, we're humans. We're allowed to be tired. I'm not knocking the band at all. But after last night, man, it changed everything again. I was so impressed, especially with the new guy, with Jay, with Sid's little mannerisms. He's cool, you know. He's cool with his his face moving and stuff. It's just like a whole new, fresh-looking band, in my opinion. They look like they've been off the road for 3 years, and they have. And they looked ready for it. They looked energetic. They looked healthy. They looked like they had that passion for it, and it was so fun to watch, guys. So what'd you guys think of the live stream? Did you catch it live, or are you gonna go back and watch it? I might go back and rewatch it again because it was that good of a performance. Guys, Thank you so much for watching. All my EPs, albums, social media, my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel and get your name featured in a future video, is all down below. And if you're brand new to my channel, you want to consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. I'm out of here, guys. Stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time.